Hello, my name is Alexandra-Diana Diaconu. I am a PhD student at Petropon Institute of Macromolecular Chemistry, and today I will talk about cyclodextrin oligolactide polyurethane hydrogels. I will begin with a brief bibliographic study, then I will present the study of the hydrogels based on cyclodextrin oligolactide. Polymeric hydrogels are three-dimensional networks consisting of hydrophilic polymer chains which are able to retain large amounts of water. Hydrophilicity, swelling capacity, absorption, and release of biological elements are their essential characteristics. Due to these characteristics, hydrogels can be potential candidates in biomedical application. Cyclodextrin are cyclic oligomers, having the ability to form inclusion complexes with a very wide range of compounds. Their use in polymeric networks has two advantages. They can capture small molecular compounds in their cavity, and they can be used as cross-linkers to the presence of many hydroxyl groups. In the scientific papers, there are a large variety of polymeric materials based on polyurethane containing both native and chemically modified cyclodextrin. These materials can have potential application in medicine, water depollution, and even in analytical chemistry. The objective of this study was to prepare biodegradable polyurethane hydrogels, which may be achieved by cross-linking reaction between hydroxyl groups and isocyanate groups. Polylactide was introduced for its degradation properties and polyethylene glycol for its hydrophilic properties. Generally, such polymer networks are prepared using the following combination: cyclodextrin and polyethylene glycol and polylactide, or cyclodextrin and polylactide. The association of three compounds in polyurethane networks can be easily achieved by introducing them all together in the cross-linking reaction. But this does not provide a convenient homogeneous cross-linking. The obtained hydrogels may have cross-linking defects that may affect the physical and chemical properties. Therefore, in order to homogenize the cross-linking reaction, we divided the synthesis process in several stages. First, the modification of cyclodextrin with lactide. Second, the modification of polyethylene glycol with isophorone D-isocyanate. And last, the cross-linking reaction between the hydroxyl groups from the modified cyclodextrin and the isocyanate groups from the functionalized polyethylene glycol. The synthesis of lactide modified cyclodextrin was performed according to a published procedure. The ring opening polymerization of lactide was performed in dimethylformamide solution in the presence of beta-cyclodextrin. Studies have shown that these products are randomly modified at all hydroxyl groups, but especially in position 6 at the primary hydroxyl group. This fact is very important in the context of preparing hydrogels because the primary hydroxyl groups, theoretically more reactive, are modified into secondary hydroxyl groups, which leads to a uniformity of the hydroxyl component. The figures show the mass spectrum of the obtained cyclodextrin oligolactide product. From the spectrum, two types of peaks can be observed: a series of intense peaks with a difference between two consecutive peaks of 144 corresponding to lactide units, and the second series of lower intensity peaks located at difference of 72 to the intense peaks that frame them. Using MALDMS, it was possible to determine the molecular weight of the obtained compound and the number of lactide units per cyclodextrin. Dibutyltindylorate was used as a catalyst because of the low reactivity of the isophore on the isocyanate. The reaction between these two compounds may lead to the formation of reaction byproducts. In order to avoid the formation of this compound and to determine the time required for the formation of the compound of interest, it was desired to optimize this reaction. Samples were collected from the reaction mixture at different time intervals, and molecular weight was determined using MALDI-MS. The figure A shows the MALDI-MS spectrum of initial polyethylene glycol, and the figure B shows the spectrum for the sample taken at 30 minutes. Analyzing both spectra in the figure, the transformation of polyethylene glycol into the polyethylene glycol modified with two isocyanate groups can be observed. For example, if you consider one peak, we can observe that its molecular weight consists of several ethylene glycol groups, 2 molecules of isophore on diisocyanate, and 1 of sodium ion, corresponding to the formation of the desired compound. From the molecular weight evolution in time, we can observe that the molecular weight increases very fast in the first 10 minutes. For the next 20 minutes, it has a constant evolution, but it shows a significant increase at the sample taken at 50 minutes. Therefore, the optimal reaction time for the compound formation is 30 minutes. Two types of hydrogels were prepared, a series with modified cyclodextrin G series and a series with native cyclodextrin B series to compare their properties. The main synthesis parameter was the cyclodextrin and polyethylene molar ratio. We found out that for high cyclodextrin content, the hydrogels lose their integrity. The purification process consisting of swelling in acetone, followed by swelling in water, then freeze drying. The aspect of the hydrogels was transparent, and the same micrographs show that the product has some porosity. Figures show the tear spectra of the obtained hydrogels. From this spectra, we observe that isocyanate group characteristic band disappeared. There are also characteristic bands of polyurethane type bonds. In the case of hydrogels with modified cyclodextrin, the specific band of the carbonyl bond in polylactide can be also observed. Also, we studied the swelling behavior of the hydrogels. The figures show the swelling degree of these two types of hydrogels with native and modified cyclodextrin. In the case of B series, there may be observed that the molar ratio between cyclodextrin and prepolymer do not significantly influence the swelling degree, while in the case of G series, the swelling degree is influenced by the prepolymer molar ratio. For high CDLA content, we observe a low water uptake. Viability tests performed on normal breast cells have shown that the hydrogels are practically non-toxic up to 15 milligrams per milliliter with a cell viability of over 90%. Levofloxacin, a broad-spectrum antibiotic, was used as a model drug. Charging was done by diffusion, and the release kinetics was obtained from UV vis measurement. From the figure, it can be observed that hydrogels with CDLA absorb and release a larger amount of drug. We observe that the hydrogels from the B series don't undergo degradation. In the case of hydrogels from G series, the degradation occurs in two stages. A faster stage from the first 10 days, followed by a slower degradation stage. As expected, the degradation depends on the polylactide content in the network. The hydrogels with the highest polylactide amount has the highest degradation rate. Taking into account the amount of polylactide in each sample presented in the table, it is noted that the amount of lost hydrogel weight is higher than the polylactide content. We may assume that polylactide chains are an integral part of the polymer network. In conclusion, hydrogels with modified and native cyclodextrin were successfully obtained. The degree of swelling depends on the amount of lactide-modified cyclodextrin used in the synthesis of hydrogels. Cytotoxicity study, drug release, and degradation prove the potential application of these hydrogels in obtaining polymer 3D networks from tissue regeneration. Thermomechanical properties and in vivo testing will be further performed. Thank you for your attention.